now, back to the Horizon recut. They open the film with the surveyor, and then we see him in this beautiful landscape. And then we come to the title credit. The music swells, and we get to the crescendo. And then we go back to the surveyor. What? You're tricking the audience. You're setting them up, and you're making this big dramatic shift. And then you don't shift. Oh, okay. Enter the Indians. We have a little dialogue between the Indian kids. The menacing Indians come and they look down and you know there's trouble, and then we're out of that scene. So we get rid of the Indians. We keep just the menacing glare and the approach because the audience gets it. We all know this story about the Wild West. Then we transition to the time jump, to the man looking for Horizon. Again, we get this long, elaborate introduction to this guy, a lot of beautiful shots, and here's the thing. You don't have to use every beautiful shot, and this rule applies to characters as well. Now, here we have a scene with this guy looking for Horizon, and he meets this colorful old coot who's rude to him and abrasive. But the thing you have to ask yourself is, does this guy have any other role in the movie besides this scene? And he doesn't. So how much screen time, and it is ratios, do you give to these two colorful characters in an introduction scene? I don't think you give them this much time. So again, we cut it. Okay, now when we get to him discovering the bodies, there's a lot of like fat to these shots. There's a lot of extended time where he's just looking around the horizon. So what we do is we jump cut the discovery of bodies. And we don't just jump time in a random way. We create a cadence to the jump cuts so that the pacing moves us forward and it still has maybe even more emotional sway. Where he's looking at the trees and across the river, this scene should end. We should not go back to this scene. It should end dramatically and powerfully. So what we do is we take the voiceover, which we'll see later, and we move it underneath the body discovery so it has more power. It's working with the music. And on the move-in shot to him, we go to the title credit. We give it more power by putting it at the end of the Horizon backstory. And that allows us to reset so that when we get to the Kevin Costner arc, it feels better, right? We came through the Horizon story, got out with a punch, and now we're starting something new. So starting the Kevin Costner arc, we see a lot of shots of the woman before she actually shoots the guy. And we see her face clearly.
James Sykes.
I don't think that's optimally good storytelling in the sense that when we see her again, we know it's her. It's much more powerful if you don't know in the beginning when she's reintroduced that it's actually the same woman from the shooting. We zoom in and obscure her face a bit so that we're not quite sure it's her. You know, people are watching carefully, which some people do. In the audience, they'll know it's her. But those who didn't, it might be a shock, and that's always a good thing.
Where was he?
If he lives, you can ask him all about it.
Now, the scene between the sons and the mother, the scene is good, so I don't touch it. The only thing I change is at the end, there's a shot of the younger brother, and he's looking off into the distance with this, like, kind of what the face. And because of the juxtaposition of the shots, the next scene, it looks like he's looking at the guy. So we go to the next shot, and then we cut back to the guy who buried the 3 bodies, cleaning his shirt in the river. Cleaning his shirt in the river. Why are we back with this guy when we've just entered the Kevin Costner arc? I don't know. Since they're reestablishing him, which is weird to begin with, they have to make it a scene, right? So they're just bringing us back to the backstory after it should have been just settled.
They will war over the withering fruits of the land.
So, okay, so we have to see him sitting by the fire reading the Bible. No, that's gone. That's why I also cut this out and moved his Bible quote under the crosses to end the Horizon section, because here is just stalling the storytelling.
That man who held himself moral in years of plenty, he will rise in a different light. He will take up against his brothers. They will war over the withering fruits of the land.
Leave your comments below, and please hit the like and subscribe button. Oh, one more thing. I got a message from a director I met at the Philippine Film Festival asking me if he could watch the cut from beginning to end, the whole movie. And it depends. Let me know if there's interest, and I can look into setting up a Discord group.
You have our work to do.